Welcome back to another episode of On the Subject. I'm your host, co-founder and CEO, Michael Vilardo. We are so excited. We have an extremely special guest here today. We have a star actress from the show Vikings, amongst other shows like Loudermilk and Half Sisters. Go check it out tomorrow.
Please don't.
And then we also have an accent aficionado and a true Canadian soul, Kristy Dawn Dinsmore. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you. You're so cute.
Yeah, no, thank you for joining us. We're really excited. And so we know you're such a world traveler. You're from Canada, you live in LA, and then you spent a lot of time in Germany. Welcome home. What are you doing this summer? What are you looking forward to in LA?
We just moved to our apartment, so I'm just kind of, relaxing into that. And I'm going to Burning Man.
I saw that. So we did see that on the IG
Yeah.
story the other day. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
so Christy's a burner now. So
I know.
tell us about that. Have you ever been to any festivals? Have you been to Coachella, Lollapalooza?
Hey, I did go to Coachella and
What year?
kind of, oh man, I think it was 20.
Who were the headliners? You might remember that better.
No, I have no idea. No, I try to pretend that I'm like this festival girl, but I said I'm not going to be a festival person until I go to Burning Man. So
Okay.
once I come home, I'll be like,
So what's your camp? What's the name?
The camp is Venice Red Light.
Okay, that's very on brand. You love Venice.
230 and C, find me.
230 and C, find her.
But it is actually like a full, like I had no idea what I was getting
That's a lot of
myself
work.
into.
Yeah, what are you going to provide for the community? What's your role?
So one main thing is it's really dark there, so I have reflective star stickers to give to people.
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
And I also brought these see, Canadian, sorry.
Yeah, oh, it's sorry.
These cute cards that's like, what are you grateful for?
Oh,
And like,
that's
so I'm gonna like
amazing.
pass cards around and be like, just simmer into that and, listen to yourself.
How many days are you going?
I'm going for the full thing.
Wow, you are diving in with both feet right away.
Yeah.
So how did you decide this is something you wanted to do? Are you going with your partner? Or
Yeah.
Are we allowed to announce the partner?
Yeah,
on the
we
show?
can, yeah.
Okay, what's
Yeah,
new about it?
Zurin, my partner. Well, he's gone 11 times, so I'm going
Oh,
with.
okay. So you're
Yeah,
going
I'm
with
going with a pro.
You're going with the pro, so
Yeah.
you'll be in for a treat.
And I'm like fully stocked. Like I have 30 pairs of socks ready to go. I like, we have all the costumes. That's like the best part about
it's
it.
so much fun.
I've
You're
been
bringing a bike?
juuling. Yeah, I got an e-bike. Like
Yep.
I'm set. But it is like I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be like a good thing for me at the end of summer, like kind of like, conclude my summer with. And I'm going there to maybe like manifest and zen out more so than party.
Yeah, no, I think that zenning out is a great feeling, especially when you really are passionate about someone like your partner or passionate about a craft like you are with acting. Zenning out could get you another perspective. And so when you talk about that, you've always been so passionate about spirituality, astrology. How did you get this passion? You've always, at least since I've met you, which
Yeah.
Christy and I met in the fall of 2019, so we go back a little bit of ways now. What made you fall in love with like the creative soul?
I think I've always been a super curious cat.
Love cats.
I love cats.
Do you have a cat
too.
yet?
No, just my
Oh, you
dogs.
gotta
do.
get a cat.
You guys love your
Yeah.
cat.
Loyalty.
Yeah. And I don't know, like I think it has to do with having a loss as a child. I think that's where it stems back to. And then just being curious in personal development, like, Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul. That was like one of the first things
That's a good book.
I really got into them when I was growing up. And I think they helped give me perspective. And I was always kind of like a little stargazer. I still am. So I, like looking out the window and being like, who am I? What is this world? And where do I belong and fit in? And I think that my dad, like my father's really like that. We had a lot of discussions growing up. And then, I just, for some reason, that just like fed me and like satisfied me growing up. And then it just kind of, boomed from there, I guess. And I just I love psychology.
Yes.
I love all those things. I love manifestation because it's worked for me. And
Manifesting
so,
is real. I think that's
Yeah.
something I love chatting about, especially people who are so accomplished and talented in fields that aren't the normal 9 to 5. And so your acting career is tremendous, and we're so grateful to get to know you.
Thanks.
The big piece there I always wonder is you are so passionate about acting and spirituality. Were you as passionate about school? And if not, how do we get more fun into school where you fall in love with learning? Because you clearly
Yeah.
you're a curious cat.
Yeah.
You love learning, extremely articulate,
Yeah.
but school may have not spoken to you.
Yeah, school was kind of a mixed bag for me.
What part did you hate the most about school?
The social aspect.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm surprised. I thought that
Yeah,
would have
I
been your
know.
favorite.
I know.
What
You'd
did you
think
not
that
like
would
about
have.
that? Yeah.
Well, I was bullied. So,
What? Oh my, I'm so
yeah.
sorry. How old were you?
I started getting bullied in middle school and then it continued into high school. My parents used to say to me, you give yourself away too much. Like you say too much about yourself and you're too good of a friend. So people walk all over you kind of thing. So I like begged to be homeschooled actually. Um,
Homeschool is getting more and more popular by the day,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
flexibility is extremely valued. And that's kind of what we talk about a lot is, there's not one size fit all approach in school, and we just
yeah,
want everyone to be able to find the best version of themselves.
yeah, totally.
Curious, was it more girls or boys picking on you?
Oh man, it was both.
Wow,
Yeah,
really?
it was
Okay,
both.
so
Yeah, yeah.
so like what changed? How did it stop?
I kind of beat the bully up at school. And then it
Wow,
stopped.
okay. There, you heard it there first. So like how
Yeah, I'm a,
can you bring us back
I
to the
mean,
scene? What happened?
yes,
So
you know hockey, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
in Canada, we kind of duke it out and then you walk away and I'm
So
not
like did you
advising
pull
teenagers to
hair or
do
what did you
this.
do?
Oh yeah, like I went to I blacked out. And my grandmother was in the hospital and my parents picked me up. I was still like, adrenaline rushed. I had like a scratch in my eye and I was like, and she's like, what happened to you? Like my grandmother, and she's like, good. Like I'm happy for you. And my parents applauded me too, because enough was enough. And I kind of, but I'm not saying that's like violence is the answer. I think there's like, you have to stick up for yourself and you have to know your self-worth. And it was kind of all encompassing, that whole scenario. But everybody left me alone after that,
Yeah, I know. I
right?
think I love
I
how she
gained some
said
respect.
she said it best. She had a formidable experience through it. Violence is not the answer. We're not condoning
Please,
that at
yes.
all. But I
No
do think,
violence.
and that's
Yeah.
something that I,
Yeah.
excited with my kids is not the violence part. Don't clip that up. Is I do think there's there's a lot of value in contact sports.
Yeah.
It's a controlled place with controlled violence
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you can learn so much from. Lacrosse, hockey, football.
Mm-hmm.
Those are sports that I really, really want my children to get to play because I
Yeah.
think that one, the sports angle, and two, as a youth, it's something that you could do. You can, but I don't really advise like as an adult playing physical sports, like getting hurt is too valuable for work.
Yeah.
But as a 10, 11-year-old kid, being out there in the world and being able to have some critique. Actually, makes me have a question. Did you play women's hockey?
No, because
No.
my dad thought that I was going to beat everybody.
Did you figure skate?
I did. And I
Nice.
have hockey skates and figure skates. And like most of the time when the pond's
Yeah.
frozen over, we've
No,
gone
I love
out.
it. You
And
gotta
my
go
brother and
play.
I'd like
Yeah.
duke it out, and
How
all
many
that kind of
siblings do you
stuff.
have?
I have my brother who just got married.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Arwen
And
or what's his name?
Sean.
Sean.
Sean, yeah. And then David, who
I don't know where that came
close,
from.
close. And then my stepbrother, David, who's 4
David.
years younger than me. Yeah.
Where do they
Yeah.
both live? Canada still?
Yeah, they do. They both, yeah.
So why
Yeah.
do you live in LA? Is it really just for your career? If money was not an issue and you didn't have to act for money and you could act it anywhere in the world, would you live in Western Canada? Is it really just career bringing here, or do you really love the city?
That's kind of tricky now that I'm 35.
Wow, we didn't have to
But
age you on the pod, but
yeah,
shout out Christy.
right out here. Yeah.
You're getting younger
I'm
with
getting
age.
grays.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gray hair
I
coming
have
in.
quite a bit. Don't
Yeah,
worry. This
I'm
is
like
a startup grind.
trying to pluck them every day. But yeah, asking myself this question because I do really love where my parents live. It's wine country.
Where is it, Kelowna?
It's near Kelowna. It's Penticton.
Oh,
in the
Penticton's
Okanagan.
amazing.
Yeah,
you go
it's
play
amazing.
at Penticton V's,
Well,
Junior A. Yeah.
did you go to the hockey?
I wanted to
Yeah.
play there. It's a good team. BCHL.
Yeah, Sidecar. There's a huge hockey academy up there, and a lot of people go up
Oh,
there.
we need to get them on subject. We're
Yeah,
all
we
about
should.
Hockey Academy. We've
Yeah.
actually bringing a lot on lately.
Yeah.
Sports academies are a perfect fit for us.
If I could remember the name.
So you were thinking about if
So-
you could live in, but isn't there a lot of acting up there now? Isn't there a lot of the
It's
films that are
always
shot up
been,
there?
yeah, in Vancouver, it's Hollywood North. And I
Yep.
think I just outgrew Vancouver. And to be honest, like why I love LA so much is because I've always kind of felt like the black sheep. So coming here and having a community and like, not feeling out of place, like I felt like I actually found my people, like I found you guys.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, no,
Like,
I think
really great
that's so
friends,
true. Being in LA, New York, these
Yeah,
cities,
These
they're
bigger
so
places.
massive. There's so much diversity, and that's just
Mhm.
not ethnic diversity. It's also career diversity and
Yeah.
thought diversity, and then also, depending on how you're hanging out in the city,
Yeah.
if you and someone have a falling out, you're probably not going to run into them every day, which is a benefit as well, being in a
Yeah.
larger city, that you
Exactly.
can
Yeah.
experiment and take risks. Like, hey, I
Yeah.
want to be a better version of myself.
Yeah.
But when you're in your hometown, you're not able to escape that. Did you feel like that as a child at all?
Yeah, I did. I didn't.
Where did you grow up? Where was your high school? Let's give a shout out.
Terry Fox Secondary.
What? Oh, isn't that the guy who like had the
Ran across
legendary
ca-
ran across the
Yeah.
country with the
Yeah.
leg injury?
Yeah.
Wow, legendary school. So Terry Fox,
Yes.
shout out, Canadian legend.
Yeah.
Was he doing a marathon every day or something?
He ran across Canada for cancer after his leg was amputated, so he basically did it on
Unbelievable.
his-
One
yeah.
leg.
And they do a run every year for him. I think on September 9th or 7th,
Okay, it's coming up.
around there. Yeah.
Virgo season.
Yeah.
So, what was the specific town that the high school was in?
Port Coquitlam.
I don't know how to say that, but let's.
They're all
stick with it.
Indian names, all native Indian.
I love it.
'cause it's- Yeah,
Beautiful.
because it's Canada. I love that.
Yeah, I
part
do
of-
love that
yeah,
part.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, growing up there, then you moved to Vancouver after.
I slowly started going south. That's
Okay.
what I've always done. Like it was like the next town. And then now I got it,
Yep.
North Vancouver, then Vancouver. Then I kept going down, and now I'm in LA. And the dream was to always, always, always be in LA.
Yeah,
And the
LA is amazing.
manifestation
Yes.
part about it was that it was like all over my whiteboards. And like, I love vision boards. I love journaling and all that stuff. But I always knew that I would be in LA.
How old were you when you started manifesting this?
I started manifesting, and a lot of credit has to go to my stepmom because she used to take me to these courses and stuff when I was younger. But
See, loving learning,
mhm.
loving learning.
Yeah, I really, yeah. Outside of and another just point to that is that when I was outside of school, I was really excelling in dance and going to
Yes.
these courses and doing these weekend
Yes.
things. And I really think that I wish there was more flexibility within school.
1,000,000%. I mean,
you
that's
know?
my whole philosophy, is that you definitely have to have a base. And so I understand, and we aren't close enough to elementary because we're mostly high school right now, about to launch
Right.
middle school.
Yeah.
But I do believe there's an elementary base that needs to be established. But I would
Mhm.
really say, when you get to high school, if you know you hate a subject, don't have to take it. Like, for instance, I hated
That would be
science growing
amazing.
up, but
Yeah.
maybe like you, you love psychology, take 2 psychology courses.
Right. Yeah.
Like, if you know you for sure have no interest in pursuing a career in that field ever, we should not be forcing kids past a certain age, of course, to
Wow,
certain proficiency, and let them take more classes they love and making that more collegiate with how they pick courses. And
Yeah.
I think about with you, like, what if you could have done more acting and dance classes in high school? Did you get any dancing or acting classes in high school?
Well, so that was one thing that I kind of wish I did. I wish I involved myself more in community theater or the high school.
Oh, so you didn't
theater
even do the
programs.
theater.
No, I didn't do that. I was more of like the dancer for school. So like
Very
when we
cool.
did prep rallies and stuff, I would always dance. When we had talent shows, I would always dance. And I had done that, and it was kind of, for my mom, it was a memorable thing.
That's
Like,
beautiful.
so I would do that because she put me in my first
Yep.
talent show. So then I would, all the way through, I did talent shows. So everybody knew it was coming every year.
What type of dance is your favorite?
I excelled at lyrical and hip hop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love hip hop. You and you and Soren do a lot of dancing?
Soren. I mean, kind of. Like, I like to go out and dance.
That's
like,
why I know,
that's
that's
like
what I'm
my
asking. I
thing to
know,
do.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'll like get carried away and just like.
What's your
and
favorite
I know
dance club in
people,
LA?
like, stare at me. Oh, I don't go to dance clubs here.
Oh, no.
Just
no.
in Berlin.
Oh, bro. Okay, so yeah, actually, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So you really are very worldly. You spent
Thank
a
you.
lot of time
Try.
in London, right? Because
Yeah, I
of
love
Vikings,
London.
and this is
And
prob-
Ireland. Ireland, it was filmed
Ireland.
there. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so would you be shooting in Ireland and then for fun go to London? And
Yeah, that's
Very
exactly.
cool.
And I have a close friend there, so I try to go like once a year.
I noticed you go there a
Yeah.
lot, and London's
Yeah, I
beautiful.
love London.
So now she's spending a lot of time in Berlin because her partner. Tell us more about Berlin. One, for those listening out here, because we have a lot of tech listeners, incredible tech hub.
Yeah.
You would almost argue it's
Crazy.
the best technology city in Europe. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, that's up for debate between Berlin, London,
Mhm.
Amsterdam, and Paris, but it seems like Berlin has had the most success over the last 5 years.
Mhm.
So super excited about that. But
There's
what was
lots
it-
of tech in Ireland too.
There is, yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
But what was
Yeah.
it like Berlin socially, like living there as an expat? Like, talk about a lot of our listeners be interested in living abroad.
Mhm.
What was that like?
I think if you have a chance to live abroad, you really should do it. And I think acting is so great for that because I can go anywhere.
I know, you're so
anytime.
lucky, yeah.
It's really awesome. But it's a different culture for sure. I don't think I was culture shocked. I think that there was a few techno kind of scenes where I was culture shocked a little bit, but I like to be open, and I think it's good to be open and, not fear things and just try things out. So, like he took me around Berlin and we kind of got involved in that kind of scene. And then also too, like, this might be funny, but for listeners, but in Germany, like the other culture shock was like spas and saunas in Germany and being completely naked with everybody. Like that was
Men and
like,
women.
yeah, everyone together. And
Wow.
so they, in
Definitely not in
America,
LA.
yeah, in North America, they really like, we sexualize a lot of things. And where I found in Europe and Germany, it's a non-sexual thing. So I was like really blown away by that. And I immersed myself being an artist. I was like, I have to get comfortable. It's just kind of, but I thought that was so cool. And the more I did it, the more I felt comfortable. And like, my boyfriend's like, it's nothing. I grew up like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, like, like
It's a much more
like,
open culture, wouldn't you
it's so
say?
much more open.
And
Yeah.
less judgmental.
And it's way less judgmental. They're very blunt. They're in a nice, polite way. The Germans have they love rules. They have a lot
Yep.
of manners. And so I found like they're really inclusive. Like they always have this brunch and they bring things, and it's like always this potluck kind of deal there. And, open outdoor, like you go to you go for picnics and go to parks and, I don't know, it's just like a lot of brunching and a lot of markets, and I just really like it. A lot of walking, which
No,
we
I
don't
know.
get
I
here.
love walking and biking. You
Yeah,
ride the Lime bikes at all there?
I
Electric bikes, they're
did.
fun.
I did,
No,
yeah,
you're
I
making me
did.
want to go back. So what were your
Yes,
two
yes, I
favorite
did.
what were your two favorite places in Berlin?
My
For
two,
going
okay.
out. For going out.
Sisyphos.
Yeah, that's a good place.
I love Sisyphos, and I liked, I did like Berghain. I did like it.
You do feel cool when you get in there.
Yeah, you feel so cool
You do.
because it's a 90% rejection
Yeah,
rate.
yeah, it is.
And Elon Musk got rejected. So
Oh, wow, really?
yeah, and I was like, they're big, burly, like German, like bald men.
How many
at
guys
the
did
door.
you? Yeah.
I just went with you. You can only go like a couple. So
Yeah,
if you
I
ever
went
wanna
in with me and two
Yeah.
other folks,
Yeah.
and we literally were so elated of getting in.
Yeah, you feel like a rock star.
You
when
really
go in.
do.
Yeah, but I just stood there and I'm like, don't smile with
Yep,
your
you
teeth.
can't. You gotta act
Yeah,
like you
I'm
don't
like,
care.
I just try to look cool and not say a word so they know that I'm not German. And I just went, and then
Yep.
they let me in. Because if I smile with my teeth, I look too cute, So
Shout out Europe.
not that I'm saying I'm cute or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, feel free.
Yeah.
So when you talk about too
Yeah.
the German social culture, which wait,
Yeah.
you're a Soho member, so did you go there
Yeah.
as well?
Oh yeah, I spent
So
a lot of
beautiful,
time
the
at
rooftops
Soho.
amazing.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah,
So
it's awesome. Yeah.
how did you and your boyfriend meet?
Well, I'm a surfer here in
You are?
California. I began
Oh, so you met
surfing.
here.
Yeah, we met here.
Wow.
Yeah, through so I have a little group.
Transatlantic story here. Watch out. Here we go.
It's funny how that happens, right?
Yep.
Canadian and German meet in Los Angeles, that whole thing. But I have like a little, like oddly enough, I have this little group in Venice where we go out and surf, and I was surfing like heavily, like 6 a.m. every morning for like 3 months a couple of years ago, and I built this community, and we'd go out for lunch or brunch afterwards and coffee, and we really got to know each other. So I used to go with this couple all the time, and they said that they had this friend Zurin coming, and he comes around Burning Man, right? Because he's been 11 times. So
Oh,
he'll
it makes
come,
more sense.
and
Yes.
and he has, with his tech company as well. He has investors
Yes.
in
Wait, was
Silicon
this
Valley.
just a
and
year ago? That's it?
so we
Wow,
just
this is
celebrated our
beautiful.
1 year. Yeah,
Congratulations,
thank
1
you.
year.
Yeah, and so he was trying to drag me out to Burning Man last year,
Yep.
and I'm so glad I said no.
That would have been a little too fast, probably.
I think so
Yeah.
too. I don't think we would have survived because the spontaneity of it, I don't think you can do for this type of. It's like
No, you
radical
gotta be.
self-reliance.
Yeah,
so
you're
you have to-
intentional.
yeah, you have to be very intentional and prepared and all this stuff. So I'm glad how it's all manifested and worked out. But yeah, and so I think our little 1 year hurrah is going to Burning Man together. But yeah, we got introduced, and then I guess the rest is history. He came back after Burning Man last year, and he was like, "Oh, I was floating. I've been nomadic for a long time." And so he's like, "Oh, you can stay in my Airbnb." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, no problem. Little did I know he had extended it, so because he knew I needed a place to
Yep.
stay, so we could, and over the course of those 2 weeks, we really got to know each other. Like he came back from Burning Man, we made pizza, like homemade
Oh,
pizza
that's fun.
together,
Yeah.
and then he invited me to Berlin, and
That
yeah,
is so cool. I love
yeah,
your nomadic spirit. It's really exciting. So let's touch
yeah,
on your career now. Let's
yeah,
zoom
sure,
in.
yeah,
You've done so many projects so far.
yeah.
I was really sad I didn't get to see the movie in theaters last year, but next release I'm going. Talk about the difference between filming a film versus a television show. Like what do
Mm,
you like better?
mm,
How much work is it? Like, are you working all day? How are the
yeah,
breaks? How long does it take to do the makeup before? Like all these listeners out here, we're
yeah.
so fascinated by film. How do you get ready for a feature film?
Well, they're both completely different, and it depends where you're in the lineup on the show versus the film. So, um, just so for example, on Vikings, like I did have a lot of time, a lot of like wait and sit and wait, so to speak. Vikings, I was in the makeup chair for a really long time because I have tattoos, so you have to cover them up, and they
Oh, really?
takes
So,
ages. Yeah, I think I'm gonna laser them off
yeah.
finally, just because it's
Oh, it
just
takes that
easier
much
on
time?
everybody.
Even like the finger tattoos they don't want
Yeah,
on
and they
there?
have to keep, blotting them and to make sure they're covered all
Wow,
day.
so they're really
So
serious
it's a
about
lot
it.
of work
Yeah.
that my makeup artists have to do for me, because they're everywhere. But and I advise not to get them if you want to act. So
You heard, she
yeah,
said,
don't do it.
this isn't
Yeah,
some preachy
unless you
boomer
can.
saying it. This is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
young actress saying, don't
yeah,
get tattooed. That's on
yeah,
her, though. That's her
yeah. Unless
thoughts.
you can hide them really nicely or you have good quality. I
Or
don't
if
know.
you're not
Figure it out.
acting and you don't need to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My brother's like fully covered, so
See?
it's
You're getting all
to
the
each their
opinions on the
own.
show.
And then a movie like for instance, Half Sisters. Like there was 2 leads, and
Yeah, you're the lead.
Sydney Wimbush and myself, and so it just depends. Like it's really kind of a loaded question because you could. If you are the lead, you have so much to prep for. You're in the makeup chair. They're calling you to set right away. You're working, strenuous long days, depending what it was. And, because it was a horror film, we were, in every single scene. It was just us two most of the time. There was a little bit of breaks and things, but it was always like, okay, what's next? Let's dial up the next scene and look through my
What's
notes.
the most takes you've ever done on a scene?
Most takes. I'm a one take wonder,
Wow.
Michael.
Okay, I love it. Let's go.
Time is money, and I think on set, like they don't waste too much time on doing too many repetitious takes. So they sometimes, in a wide shot, they'll get one and done,
Oh, I love that.
and
That's
so
the
you have to
best.
be prepped and prepared. Because sometimes I'm like, damn, I could have done that better if I just looked this way a little bit more. Everything would have been okay. But so yeah, you have to be like, on focused all the time and on and ready to go. But I think maybe there was a time, I don't know, there must have been a time where I've done like 10 takes or something, or had been in a scene where someone was, doing a monologue and messing up or something. So it was taking like, an hour, and we're all like,
Oh, it makes you, you
but
get,
it's
when you're
okay.
cold, it's harder to go. So,
Yeah.
how many people are part of, do you have an agent, a manager? Like, what's that
Yeah.
situation
I
like?
have a whole team of people, and then they have teams of people, and then everybody's, threads of emails and all these things like, CCBC, like it goes down the
Yeah.
list. But I have a Canadian agent, and then I have my managers here in Los Angeles and my agent here in Los
So,
Angeles.
what does the Canadian agent do differently than the American agent?
Really nothing. I think it's just regional. It's just
Oh,
kind
okay,
of like,
okay.
and then they work together, and then they
Oh, so
kind
they're
of
on the
tag
same
team.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, they're on the same team. Everybody like chats, and I think there's like at least 8 people on my team
So, do
now.
they do
So
all the like sourcing of jobs for you? Do you not?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
that
So, like,
happens.
what's that
Yeah.
like? Do you just say, hey, this is the type of projects I'm willing to do, go find it? Or, like,
No,
is it more?
they submit you, and then you
Oh,
go,
and they tell
I'm
you.
gonna pass on that
Oh,
one.
wow.
Mm,
Oh, it's after the
yeah,
fact.
it's
How
after
much
the
do they get
fact. Or
angry at with you when you don't want to do something?
no, never, never,
No?
never, never.
Oh,
No,
it's a good
no.
relationship you guys
Sometimes
have.
they'll push you in the right direction. Sometimes you get super loaded with auditions. Like I had like, you get like 1 on Monday, and then you get 2 on Tuesday, and then you're trying to get the 1 done from Monday on the due date for Wednesday, and then you get 4 more, and it's just like a busy time. So you have to prioritize sometimes, and I'll just pass on them, and then they'll be like, well, no, I think you should really tape for this one. I think this one you could win. So I'm like,
Where are the
okay, fine.
auditions typically? Are they in the valley or?
Self tape.
Oh, that's easier
Yep.
then. That's
And
better.
after COVID, it's all been self-tapes. And
That's so much better.
I do really love going in the room,
Yeah, it's true. In
you
person's,
know?
I mean, we're an
Yeah.
in-person company for that reason. We love in-person work.
Yeah, I just think that there's more, like, you can
You
sell
get to know
yourself
people.
more and
Yeah,
you get to know
agreed.
people, and in person is such more like it's there's intimacy there, you know?
I a
So,
million% agree. In person is the way, and that's why I always advise all young people work in person as much as you can. And even
yeah.
this, like us hanging out together in person on the podcast,
Yeah,
we
there's
don't
an
do it. We
energy.
don't do any virtual podcasts. You have to come to LA and
You
do the
have to
podcast
come
here.
here.
Yeah, what do you think
Fly
of the
down.
setup?
I love this setup.
Yeah, and shout
Shout
out
out
to the
to
listeners.
Holly.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
Kristy was
Mhm.
is our acting instructor. So she
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
such a great teacher for us and a meal learning when it was called highmeal.com.
Yeah,
Now we're
meal.
subject.com and the
Mhm.
acting class lives on and you've helped so many students that way.
Ah,
What would you say if you were to be able to speak back to your high school self that you would
yeah.
have said, "Hey, Kristy of 16 years old, don't be so hard on yourself. You should do this
Yeah.
more." What would you say if you could speak to your high school self?
Yeah, I think, I would probably have just, surrounded myself more in the art community. Taken those summer camp classes that my parents were pushing me to do. And then also, like actors have therapy and therapists and all this stuff. And I wish I had gotten into therapy a little bit
Earlier.
sooner.
Yeah.
And I think
So
when you're,
powerful. Take care of your mental health above all else. Every listener know
yeah,
that.
and I think it's a process, right? So like you have to go up the ladder, so to speak, within your career. And they say it takes 30 years to build your career as an
I
actor.
agree.
Um,
Yeah, that's so specifically to an actor, 30 years.
yeah,
And so when did you get your first IMDb DB credit?
I was 16,
Oh, it's
so
good. Wow, you're well on
yeah,
your way. So you're 20
yeah,
years in.
yeah. I know. And I think back then, I had a little coach and I had some mentors, but I think, like, I always tell people to find someone they aspire to and find somebody that's wise and have a mentor. And I had a lot of fear and I didn't have a lot of self confidence then. And I think when you're a teenager, like 13 to 18, like you're still kind of, winging it and you're trying to find yourself. And a lot about acting is being brave and overcoming those things and being okay in your body. And I think it was great that I had dance, but I hadn't found my voice yet. So a lot of, like, everyone says, oh, you're not, acting is not about your voice, it's about the writers. And I disagree. I think it's a collaboration. And if you haven't had your voice, if you don't have your confidence in your own voice, then you're not going to be able to tell the story properly, right? So it's collaborative. And I think that, just one simple thing, like I lost 3 years of school growing up because my mom was sick, right? And I lost a lot of self-confidence that from school, and it intimidated me because trauma brain and stuff. I was so unfocused. So I think it's a process, and I think kids have a lot of trauma, and I think there's lots of bullying, and it's like
And
so
it's
hard.
even more today than ever before
Yeah, and
because
I
social media.
couldn't exactly, and I couldn't imagine. So I think having someone one you could look up to and go to. I had like a grade 5 teacher that became friends with me and a mentor, and we still talk to this day. And like love her, and she was amazing. Helped me after school with, took time like on her own free will to help me with my reading and math skills. So I think, like, as a storyteller, as an actress, you'll want to make sure that you know how to articulate and read out loud, practice out loud. That's something I wish I did. I wish I read more scripts and understood those plays, got into summer camps and theater stuff and all of that kind of thing, and then found that community where I could just be free in myself and be rewarded for that. Because, back to being in LA, I go to acting class and that's like my time to be a complete idiot. Like,
So fun and freeing.
yeah. And, when at home, my family loves me. I'm the neurotic one in the family. Like, they're like, you're a little psycho. And, like, that's okay. But I had for the first time being in Los Angeles, and it doesn't even need to be here. It just needs to be like in your community of people where they just get you and they understand you, and you can have this like vulnerability and be able to fall on your face, and someone just, be able to pick you back up and be like, don't worry, I'm going to do that next week in class, So I think there's a lot of like, you have to overcome a lot. And I see this with even like, it's not even just teenagers, it's adult actors who haven't got through those steps with themselves, they're too timid or shy to like show that side of themselves, whether it's like an array of emotions,
Yes.
right? So you have to be able to do those things and be unapologetic in them, and then just go for it and don't look back. Just like try stuff, like be brave and courageous and just go for it, because what do you have to lose?
Yeah, no,
You know?
I completely agree. I think even, I've noticed in my own personal life, being a founder, entrepreneur, over time, it's harder to relate to certain friends that are incredible friends, but they're not
Yeah.
going through the same things, the same pressures, the same stresses, and that's just how life is in general. And I can totally relate in terms of you love your acting community because they can
Yeah.
connect with you on an emotional level, on a professional level, and really provide those supports. And
Yeah.
it's so important to find your people where you can make mistakes, where you can
Yeah.
let your vulnerable dark self out, and they can help coach and correct you
Yeah.
accordingly in a
Yeah.
safe space. And so
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. I totally agree. And that's why I've always been so attracted to your positivity, but definitely want to meet your partner because he's
Yeah.
probably going through similar things that I'm
Yeah, you
going
guys should
through.
have him on the podcast.
We should. Great idea. I love it.
And
Okay.
also too, just to touch back, set is a community.
Yeah.
So that's like, we were talking about film
Fully a
versus
community. TV.
TV, and TV, like we had like those 2 year, like, and it's so sad when you leave because you build a
Yeah,
family.
exactly. And then they're done. They're out of your life.
Yeah, I would rather do a film sometimes so I can, like, because I get
You
so
can disconnect.
like,
Yeah.
I love
No, I feel that
everybody.
even here, like this company and everything has given me
Yeah.
so much, and
Yeah.
it's everything to me. And
Yeah.
being in the arena with these teammates is really special, and it's a joy, and that's the social release that my wife and I are lucky enough to get on a daily basis. That on the weekends we just like to lay low because
Yeah.
we don't need any socialization. This
Yeah.
is the social
You
release.
you
but
guys are lucky to have that. It's hard to build that, and you guys are both great people, so you found amazing people, and the success is growing.
Success is continuing, and so we got to thank one person especially extra for this, and that's Kristy Dawn Dinsmore, the investor. We didn't announce that in the beginning. She's also an investor in this company, so hopefully she's liking what she's seeing. An instructor, and now the podcast peddler by getting her boyfriend to come on.
Look at
ASAP.
me go.
Thank you.
And I was just gonna say one thing.
Yeah.
The course that I did was intimidating. It was, and I learned so
But you
much
helped
from
so
doing
many
it.
kids.
Yeah.
You've helped at least, I would love, we should fact check these numbers, but you've helped at least 10,000 kids, and that's pretty
Oh,
special.
Really? That's amazing.
Think about how many kids are better off, and maybe
That's amazing.
maybe they want to explore acting because of you. And
Yeah.
so shout out to Kristy Dawn Dinsmore.
Yes.
Another incredible episode of On the Subject. I'm your host, Michael Vilardo. Please click like and subscribe down below. We're really trying to push Spotify and YouTube. Like, subscribe, help grow the podcast so we get more incredible guests like Christy soon. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.